welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're inviting you to journey with us to Tanga, a really vibrant city in Tanzania. We want you to discover how it's becoming something of a global blueprint for urban transformation.
And specifically with its young people right at the forefront, leading the charge.
Exactly. This isn't just, a story about aid dropping in. It's about communities really seizing control of their own future, actively driving their own growth.
Yeah, and today we're diving deep into the Tanga Yetu Initiative. It was launched back in 2019 with quite significant support from the Swiss-based Fondation Botnar.
Right.
And our sources, well, we've got a comprehensive report plus a whole collection of really powerful success stories. And they reveal what seems to be a genuinely groundbreaking approach to urban development, specifically there in Tonga.
Yeah, they really do. So our goal in this deep dive is to explore exactly how Tanga Yetu has managed to create such tangible, positive change, across so many different sectors too. We'll look at how they've tackled some tough challenges like youth unemployment, limited resources, things like that. But most importantly, how they've truly empowered Tonga's young population.
And we'll unpack the results, which are pretty incredible. Plus, the lessons learned, always important, what might be next for this really inspiring initiative.
Okay, so maybe set the scene for us. What's Tonga like?
Sure. So Tonga is a coastal city. It's in northeastern Tanzania. Demographically, if you look at the whole Tonga region, back in 2022, the projected population was over 2.6 million people.
Wow.
Yeah, and a huge chunk, about 80%, are involved in agriculture. Then maybe another 5% along the coast rely on fishing. Now, the Tonga City Council itself, the area we're sort of focusing on, governs a population of just over 393,000.
Got it. So in that context, what's Tanga Yetu trying to achieve? What's the big mission?
Well, their overarching mission is basically to transform Tonga into a model city, specifically for youth-driven development. They're directly confronting these big challenges, rapid urbanization, urban poverty, social exclusion.
Right. And the aim is always to empower young people so they can meet their own needs. It's quite a holistic vision, actually.
It really sounds like it. And how do they sort of structure this? Is there a framework?
There is. A key element is their strategic use of something called the Evidence to Action framework. E2A, for short.
E2A, okay.
Yeah. You can think of it like a dynamic urban GPS.
Mm-hmm.
It helps them collaboratively generate real-time data about what young people actually need and aspire to.
So it's not guesswork.
Exactly. For instance, if surveys show a big demand for, say, specific vocational skills, the E2A framework means Tanga Yetu doesn't just guess, they pivot. They allocate resources directly to those needs that have been verified. It's all about making sure every action is rooted in local reality.
That makes sense. And presumably they're not doing this in isolation.
Oh, absolutely not. That's critical to their success, I think. They built this incredibly diverse coalition of partners. You've got InnovaX, they started as the fund manager, but now they're the core program implementing firm.
They work hand in hand with the Tonga City Council, naturally. But beyond that, they've brought in a whole array of civil society organizations, local innovators, private sector folks, all working directly with the young people. It's a real ecosystem.
Collaboration is key then. And this work, it's structured somehow. You mentioned pillars.
Yes, exactly. The whole effort is built around 5 core priority areas. These really form the backbone of Tanga Yetu's approach. They are economic and social empowerment, innovation and technology, education and skill development, community engagement and safety, and finally, health and well-being.
5 pillars. Comprehensive.
Very. Each one is foundational to the overall strategy.
All right. Well, with that context, let's dive into the first one then. Economic and social empowerment. Sounds crucial.
It really is. This pillar is all about, cultivating livelihoods, building futures. The main goal is boosting financial independence, creating jobs, establishing sustainable ways for people to earn a living, particularly for Tonga's youth and women.
And the stories coming out of this are pretty inspiring,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Take poultry farming, for example. Tanga Yetu helped transform it from just, a traditional practice into a potentially profitable business.
How so?
Well, there's Amari Musa. He started off pretty small in 2023, maybe 500 chickens. But he got training, led by Elizabeth Sway from AKM Glitters Company, that's one of the partners.
Right.
And now, he's expanded to an impressive 4,000 broilers and hybrids. But it wasn't just about techniques. The training apparently revolutionized his whole perspective. He saw it as a proper business.
That's a huge jump. And it didn't stop with him, did it?
Not at all. That ripple effect you mentioned earlier. He founded the Kuku Pesa investment group. He's trained over 118 other young entrepreneurs himself and supports nearly 100 other poultry farmers in the region.
Incredible. That's real impact multiplication.
Definitely. And there's another example, Paul Sikombe. He chairs the Unity Youth Group. After the Tanga Yetu training, he got his group organized, pooling their resources. They expanded their poultry venture from 400 chicks to 1,000.
So pooling resources was key there.
Yes. And Paul's got bigger ambitions, too. His group wants to set up a local hatchery because there's a growing demand for quality chicks in Tonga. He even dreams of turning the Unity Youth Group into a full-fledged company.
Wow.
Although he did mention needing more financial management training, which kind of highlights that ongoing need for skills development as these ventures scale up.
Makes sense. It's not just poultry, though, is it? There's innovation in farming and fishing, too.
Oh, absolutely. Look at the Women's Fiber Boat Fishing Collective, the MAWA group. This initiative gave them modern fishing equipment, fiber boats.
Okay, and what difference did that make?
A huge difference. Their yields went up dramatically, household incomes increased, they could actually access more productive fishing grounds further out. One member, Hadia Hamisi, basically said the boat transformed her ability to support her family.
That's powerful.
Isn't it? And the group, collectively, saved 4 million Tanzanian shillings. Plus, they're committed to mentoring young girls in fishing. They've already introduced over 50 girls to the trade. So it's empowerment, but also changing norms in a traditionally male field.
Reshaping industries, like you said.
Yeah.
And agriculture on land. Any transformations there?
Yes. Hamisi Shabani's story is a great example. He shifted from just subsistence farming to growing high-value crops. Things like bell peppers, sweet melons, fast-maturing chilies. He learned modern irrigation techniques through Tanga Yetu, and the financial improvement is significant. He's earning around 100,000 Tanzanian shillings every 5 days, just from half an acre. And like Omari, he's committed to teaching other young people.
The mentorship aspect seems really strong throughout.
It does, and they're not just sticking to traditional methods either. They're exploring totally new income streams, seaweed farming, sea cucumber farming.
Darn cucumbers. Right.
Yeah, and there's this really innovative crab fattening project. Get this, they're even looking into creating bioplastics from the discarded crab shells.
Wow, that's circular economy thinking right there. Amazing.
It really is. Now, underlying a lot of these successes is something they call mindset change.
Okay, tell me about that.
Well, they ran a mindset change and entrepreneurship program. It reached over 1,000 young people, 1,036 to be precise. And it led to this really profound shift in perspective for many.
In what way?
They realized, that you can start a business without huge amounts of capital. It's more about resourcefulness, local innovation.
Breaking down that barrier.
Exactly. And alongside that, 17 youth savings and loans associations were formed. Collectively, they saved over 13 million Tanzanian shillings, 13,246,000 TZS.
That's remarkable, especially considering where some might have started from financially.
Absolutely. For youth whose median income was basically 0 TZS per week initially, that's a massive achievement.
It really shows the power of, collective action and financial literacy, doesn't it?
Totally. You have groups like Karanjuan, Umoja wa Vijana Tandawa. They're pooling resources for their own ambitions, like cassava farming or fish farming. It fosters self-reliance.
There was a quote, wasn't there, from Jackson Magaya?
Yes, he said, Tanga Yetu didn't just give us money, they gave us knowledge. That really sums it up. And the numbers back it up too. The percentage of participants earning above the national poverty line jumped from 42% at the start to 72% by the midline assessment.
That's a fundamental shift. Incredible. Okay, so that's economic empowerment. What about Pillar 2? Innovation and technology.
Right, Pillar 2. The goal here is pretty clear. Equip Tonga's youth with the tools they need for this, rapidly evolving digital economy.
And Tonga seems to be doing some pretty groundbreaking stuff here.
It really is. For starters, the city now hosts the first city observatory in East Africa. It's certified by Unhabitat, and it monitors sustainable development goals right down to the ward level.
An observatory, what is that actually about?
Well, what's really impressive is that the youth themselves formed their own organization to run parts of it OMAT. It stands for Okoa Maisha Kwa Takwimu, which means save life through data.
Save life through data. I like that.
Me too. And they're not just passively collecting data, they're turning it into actionable insights. They've already landed their first contract with the World Bank.
Wow.
And they're actively helping the city council formalize the informal economy by registering traders on something called the TAUI system. This directly boosts city revenue.
Okay, so tell me more about this TAUI system.
Right, the TAUI digital licensing platform. It basically streamlined the whole process for getting business licenses from the Tonga City Council. It cut down administrative hurdles, reduced opportunities for corruption.
Made it easier for entrepreneurs.
Exactly. And Tangiatu trained 40 young people specifically for this. In just 3 months, they helped register over 10,000 businesses. Again, a significant boost to the city's revenue. It's a perfect example of digital tools empowering local government and efficiency.
That's huge system-level impact. Does it trickle down to individual entrepreneurs, too?
Definitely. Take Zainab Safir's Fatia. She went through the Youth Digital Skills for Employment project. It was transformative for her. She launched her own stationery business, Agina General Supplies.
Right.
And now she uses graphic design skills, sometimes just on her phone with Canva, for marketing her business. But she's also freelancing, doing social media management for others, including Tangiatu itself, and even a foundation in Kenya.
So the skills are transferable.
Highly. And she's mentoring 2 students as well, spreading that digital literacy. Her story just embodies the power of accessible digital skills.
It really does. And there was another example, wasn't there? Someone starting a delivery service.
Ah, yes, Rock John. He was inspired by another Tanga Yetu project, the Google mapping of Tonga City. He saw a gap and launched his own delivery service, Tonga Delivery. And the digital skills training he received helped him promote it online, gain traction. He now employs 5 people, and he's looking to expand. It's that direct link. Digital literacy leading to job creation.
Fantastic. Okay, what about the more sort of cutting-edge tech, STEM labs and fabrication?
Right, the TOIO Fabrications Lab. It's hosted at Tonga Technical School, and it's basically a tech innovation hub. They offer free training in things like 3D printing, laser cutting, CNC routing, robotics.
Wow, advanced stuff.
Yeah, and it's already showing results. 13 students have already secured internships or temporary jobs in Tonga's local industrial sector. It's like a direct pipeline from training to employment. As Sahil, one of the instructors, said, technology is the future of any economy.
Makes sense. And there was something else really innovative involving flies.
Ah, yes, the black soldier fly farming, BSF farming. It's incredible, actually. Irene and her mother are breeding these BSF larvae because the larvae are amazing at converting organic waste like food scraps into high-protein biomass. This biomass then becomes a super cost-effective and sustainable alternative to traditional animal feed, especially for poultry and fish farmers.
So they feed waste to the flies, and the flies become feed.
Basically, yes, the larvae do. And the income potential is apparently huge, up to 400,000 Tanzanian shillings a day. Plus, it massively helps reduce household waste. It's just a brilliant circular economy solution in action.
That is genuinely ingenious. And there's also a STEM part.
Yes, a dedicated science and technology center. It's already engaged over 30,000 students, offering really good hands-on learning experiences.
Like what?
Well, we heard from Freddie Abdallah, a primary student, who said he finally understood plant respiration because of the interactive resources there. And Rafael Mahindi, a science teacher, talked about using real equipment like litmus paper for corrosion experiments, which made science engaging and totally transformed his teaching.
Making science real.
Exactly. And importantly, there's a big push for gender inclusivity in STEM too. You have individuals like Agnes who are actively challenging stereotypes and inspiring other girls to get involved.
That's crucial. Okay, moving on to Pillar 3. Education and skill development. What's the focus here?
The main goal here is really strengthening the actual educational infrastructure, the learning environment, and also providing skill development opportunities that are really tailored to what Tonga's youth need.
Infrastructure, like buildings.
Well, sometimes it's more fundamental. Take the desk, chairs, and tables project. It sounds simple, but the scale was massive. They provided over 4,000 desks for primary schools.
4,000?
Yeah, and nearly 3,000 chairs and over 3,800 tables for secondary schools. Altogether, that benefited over 12,000 primary students and nearly 4,000 secondary students.
Just having somewhere proper to sit and write.
It makes a huge difference, but there's a dual impact here too. The project also created temporary jobs for 113 youth, 39 adults, and crucially, 10 disabled youth, who were all hired as local carpenters to make the furniture.
That's fantastic. Linking infrastructure improvement with job creation.
Exactly. The mayor, Honorable Abdulman Omari Shiloh, said these items literally revolutionized learning. And a parent, Rashid Machaliwa, said they've given our children dignity. Powerful stuff.
It really is. What about teaching methods? Any innovation there?
Yes. One of the most interesting approaches is the Teaching at the Right Level program, TARL for short.
Teaching at the right level. How does that work?
It's basically a personalized learning approach. They assessed over 2,000 students, 2,081. They identified those who were struggling, 473 in literacy, 630 in numeracy.
Okay.
And those students were then enrolled in targeted instruction, grouped by ability, not just age. And the results, remarkable. 81% of the literacy students graduated from the program.
81%, that's huge. How did they do it?
Well, teachers like Mojabu Ali described using songs, games, really interactive methods to make learning fun and accessible for these kids.
Sounds great. But was it accepted easily? Sometimes new methods face resistance.
You hit the nail on the head. Initially, there was skepticism from parents. Some thought their children were being demoted because they were grouped by ability. Some even worried, believe it or not, that their children were being bewitched.
Oh, wow.
Seriously. But then came the results. The testimonies from those same parents were apparently incredibly compelling. Children who couldn't read a word were suddenly reading paragraphs proficiently, even reading newspapers.
That must have turned opinions around fast.
Completely. Dr. Godfrey Telly, the principal investigator, confirmed that over 80% success rate. It just highlights the power of tailoring education to meet students where they actually are, instead of that rigid one-size-fits-all system.
Absolutely. Okay, that's education. Now, pillars 4 and 5, they work together, right? Community engagement and safety, and health and well-being.
That's right. They're very interconnected. The overall goal for both is really promoting physical, mental, and social wellness and fostering an urban environment that's inclusive and secure for everyone.
So safety first. What did they do there?
One major project was the Safe Journeys to School initiative, run in partnership with an organization called Amend.
Okay.
They tackled the problem of dangerous school routes, high-speed traffic, unmarked crossings. They installed speed bumps, put in proper pedestrian crossings, added road signs near 11 different schools.
And did it work?
Tangible results. Within just 6 months, there was a 40% decline in child-related road accidents near 2 of the primary schools, Usagara and Chuda.
20%, that's significant.
It really is. Ramatani Nanza from Amend put it beautifully. A child's safety isn't just about infrastructure, it's about giving them the freedom to dream and learn without fear.
Well said. What about safety within the community? Issues like violence.
Yes, they addressed that head-on with the Combating Violence Against Children and Adolescents Project, VCA, working with Toyota.
Okay.
This was a massive undertaking. It targeted all 27 wards, 181 neighborhoods in Tonga, aiming to combat physical abuse and exploitation. They used workshops, awareness campaigns, training for local leaders, police, healthcare workers, a really multifaceted approach.
That sounds comprehensive. What was the impact?
One key outcome was a significant increase in reported cases, which sounds counterintuitive, but it actually means more people felt safe and empowered to come forward. Thousands of young people were reached.
So, increased reporting indicates increased trust and awareness.
Exactly. We heard from Amina, a survivor, who said she found the courage to report abuse because of the program. And Josephine Isaac Joseph, a student later, talked about how the program made schools feel safer. Plus, they formed 104 anti-abuse school clubs, creating vital peer support networks.
That peer support is so important. What about mental health? Was that addressed?
Critically important, yes. A baseline survey had flagged it as a major issue. Over 60% of students reported stress and anxiety, and substance abuse was rising.
Worrying numbers.
Very. So Tanga Yetu responded by setting up mental health clubs in over 50 schools. But they also linked it to skills providing vocational training, like carpentry, to give young people, especially those at risk, a renewed sense of purpose.
Purpose as a protective factor.
Precisely. There's a powerful story about Ismail, who was a former gang member. Through the program, he got support, learned a trade, and now runs his own business and mentors other youth. It shows how addressing mental well-being can lead directly to positive social reintegration.
That's a great outcome. And reproductive health. Was that part of the well-being pillar?
Yes, definitely. They tackled issues like early pregnancies and the general lack of awareness among adolescents. They ran educational workshops in schools, but also held sessions specifically for parents to engage them.
Bringing parents into the conversation.
Crucial. Over 5,000 adolescents and 400 parents participated. And the results were measurable: a decline in early marriage rates and increased school retention for girls in the communities involved. It's about empowering choice, ensuring healthier futures.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned the City Observatory earlier. There was a mapping component, too.
Yes, the GIS Mapping Initiative, Geographic Information Systems. This was really innovative because it empowered residents themselves to identify and mitigate urban risks.
How did that work?
It started with 3 focus areas. One was a spatial safety index mapping flood zones, high traffic areas, accident black spots. Another was solid waste management tracking, where waste is produced, where it's collected, to guide cleanup campaigns.
Okay.
And the third was development control monitoring land use, keeping an eye on construction to ensure it fits the city plan. And crucially, young people were heavily involved in the data collection. They gained IT skills, data analysis skills, even used drone technology for mapping.
So practical skills development tied directly to community improvement.
Exactly, turning abstract data into real tools for safety and planning.
Very smart. And finally, under these pillars, there was something about a park.
Jamhuri Park. Yes, its revitalization is a fantastic example of urban renewal. It's a 7.7-acre public space, reopened in December 2023.
And it's more than just a park now.
Much more. It's been transformed into this vibrant hub for the community, for culture, but also for economic activity. It now provides space for 50 young entrepreneurs to run their businesses.
Wow, micro-enterprise space within the park.
Yes, and the construction phase itself created temporary jobs for over 30 young people. It's really become a symbol of urban inclusivity, showing what public spaces can be.
Okay, so bringing all these threads together, what's the overall impact? What does Phase I add up to?
Well, quantitatively, it's huge. Tanga Yetu Phase I directly impacted over 151,000 people, and it mobilized nearly 10 billion Tanzanian shillings in funding.
That's massive reach.
It is. And beyond the numbers, Tanga is now genuinely positioned as a model for youth-driven development for sustainable progress. It really demonstrates that local ingenuity can drive massive transformation.
Looking back at Phase I, what were the crucial lessons learned?
Several key things emerged. Firstly, financial literacy and reliable access to funding are absolutely vital for sustainable growth. This led directly to recommendations about expanding microlending options.
Makes sense. What else?
Digital access. They realized there's a real need for shared digital hubs to overcome limitations. Not everyone has internet or their own device. These hubs are key for boosting digital literacy and employability across the board.
Bridging the digital divide.
Exactly. Also, climate resilience came up strongly. Given Tanga's coastal location and agricultural base, they recognized the need to partner more closely with agricultural research institutions to really push climate-resilient farming techniques.
Adapting to environmental realities.
Yes. And another huge lesson was the importance of community ownership and co-creation. Getting local stakeholders, especially youth groups, women's groups involved right from the planning stage through what they call co-design, makes projects much more relevant and sustainable in the long run.
So not just consultation, but actual co-design.
That's the key difference. And linked to that, gender inclusivity. Actively promoting women in fields like STEM or fishing, traditionally male domains, doesn't just broaden economic opportunities, it actively challenges cultural norms.
Important social impact, too.
Definitely. And finally, that mindset shift lesson we talked about earlier. Addressing youth ambition, managing expectations about immediate results, doing it through those mindset change programs that's essential for sustainable growth and building resilience. Can't expect overnight miracles.
Very true.
Yeah.
Were there ongoing challenges they identified? Things that were difficult?
Oh, for sure. Successes are impressive, but challenges remain. Things like limited digital infrastructure, you mentioned the PayPal issue, lack of laptops, that's real. Short funding cycles can limit how ambitious a project can be.
Right.
There were also capacity gaps sometimes in city staff, occasional supply chain delays for materials, and some initial cultural resistance to completely new ideas, like the black soldier fly farming. It takes time for people to adopt new things.
Understandable. So knowing all that, what's the plan for Phase II? What are the recommendations?
Well, the goals are pretty strategic. They want to expand the economic empowerment programs, definitely enhance digital literacy and infrastructure. Those shared digital hubs are a priority. Promote climate resilient practices more widely.
Building on what worked.
Exactly. Plus, strengthen gender inclusivity efforts. Integrate that local stakeholder co-design even more deeply into all projects. Also, practical things like establishing better maintenance plans for technical equipment like in the Fab Lab and strengthening supply chain systems.
Logistics matter.
They really do. And encouraging more resource sharing, cooperative models between groups. Securing longer-term funding is obviously a goal. And replicating successful models like the STEM centers, the park revitalization elsewhere in Tonga, or even beyond.
And a key shift in approach.
Yes, a strategic move towards longer project timelines, at least 1 year per project. This allows for deeper impact, more time for things to take root and become sustainable, less pressure for instant results.
That seems wise. So as we wrap up, what's the final thought you want to leave our listeners with?
Well, I think it's about the bigger picture. As Tonga continues this evolution, really powered by its young people and these innovative, locally driven approaches, maybe the provocative thought is, how might its journey inspire other cities, maybe around the world, to rethink those traditional top-down urban development models?
Right.
Could Tonga prove that real, lasting, transformative change actually comes from investing deeply in local ingenuity, fostering that culture of ownership, co-creation, and resilience from the ground up?
That's a powerful question. The potential blueprint, as we said at the start. This has been a fascinating deep dive into the Tanga Yetu Initiative. Thank you for walking us through it.
My pleasure. It's a remarkable story.
It really is. We hope you, our listeners, have gained some valuable insights into this incredible example of urban transformation driven by youth. Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.